Greetings, Pokefans! Michael here, and I've always loved Pokemon Sun and Moon are less than 2 months away from being released, and I couldn't be more excited. I've always loved exploring a new region, and all the new features that they're introducing seem like they'll be really awesome. Plus, the twists of no gyms and the Ultra Beasts are things I cannot wait to find out more about. But probably the most exciting thing about a new region and generation is the new Pokemon we're going to get. Getting a whole new batch of cool and interesting creatures is something we all love, and every generation of Pokemon has brought me some brand new favorites. Now, since Sun and Moon are less than 2 months away from being released, and we've already gotten 45 new Pokemon, I don't think many more will be announced prior to the game's release. So because of that, I thought now would be a good time to count down my top 10 favorite of the new Pokemon we've gotten so far, in anticipation for the many more we'll get when the games come out. These Pokemon will be ones that I like for a variety of reasons, such as design, typing, evolution potential, and many more. Also, I'm not going to include Alola forms in this video since they're technically not new Pokemon, but if you want to see me count down my favorite Alola forms before the games come out, let me know in the comments below. So be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't, and without further ado, here are my top 10 favorite Generation 7 Pokemon so far. Number 10. Tapu Koko. I really like Tapu Koko. It's unlike any Pokemon we've really ever seen before. Even though its typing isn't unique, it feels unique since Tapu Koko is absolutely nothing like Dedenne. Also, it's kind of reminiscent of fairy or sprite-like Pokemon of the past, but the intimidating markings, intense glare, and freaking epic mohawk make it look a heck of a lot cooler. I also really like Tapu Koko's role as the guardian of Melee Island. It's kind of like a Pokemon superhero, which is obviously a really cool concept. Although the description online does say that it's kind of fickle and won't always come to your aid if you need its help, so maybe it's more of a flawed hero. But regardless, I can't wait to see what the other Guardians look like as well, since I think it'll be really cool to see how they team up, kind of like Hawaiian Pokemon Power Rangers. Number 9. Type Null. I said that Tapu Koko was unlike any Pokemon we'd seen before, but Type Null takes that to the next level in a big way. First off, its name is Type Null. A colon is literally in its name. I didn't know that was possible. But what I really love about Type Null is just how badass this thing looks. It's like a Pokemon version of the Frankenstein monster, but instead of being hideous, it's freaking cool. The fearsome talons combined with the hind paws, combined with the tomahawk on its head, is just so dang intimidating. Plus, the power restricting mask makes it look super intense. I do hope we get to see what it looks like without it though. Type Null also seems like it'll have a really interesting backstory, and I really want to find out more. It was supposedly created to take on legendary Pokemon, but now it's partnered with Gladion, the Team Skoll enforcer? Who created it and why? And how did it get to the point that it is now? I really want to find out more because I think this backstory is going to be super interesting. Number 8. Pikipek. I think Pikipek is one of the cutest regional birds that we've seen, rivaling and possibly surpassing Fletchling. We were definitely long overdue for a woodpecker Pokemon, and I think they did a really great job with Pikipek's design. Also, the Skill Link ability has the potential to make it a pretty formidable fighter, assuming that it actually gets moves that Skill Link helps with. I also really like Pikipek because I think the potentials for its evolutions are huge. Most of the other regional birds end up looking somewhat like birds of prey, but since woodpeckers aren't really anything like that, I think they have an opportunity to make a really unique final evolution for Pikipek that would stand out from the other regional birds while still looking really cool. Number 7. Wishy-Washy. This thing has got to have the craziest Pokemon gimmick I have ever seen, and I absolutely love it. Wishy-Washy's solo form is really cute and kind of reminds me of Tynamo, a Pokemon I've always liked. But its school form is absolutely terrifying. This cute little fish summons Owlies that turn it into the 27-foot-long behemoth that supposedly Gyarados are afraid of. Holy crap! If that's the case, I want to know what the stats of this thing are. Its attack and speed have got to be through the roof. One of the Japanese trailers showed this awesome shot of a school form Wishy-Washy coming out of the water during a rainstorm, and it looks extremely epic. This does imply that a school form Wishy-Washy will be one of the totem Pokemon, and I can tell you for sure that's going to be one hell of a boss fight. Number 6. Rowlet. Rowlet was my favorite starter when they were announced, and it still is as of now. I think it's adorable, plus I have a soft spot for it since I've tended to root for the grass starters ever since Treecko and Turtwig. Plus, I did correctly predict that the grass starter would be a bird. A bird grass starter seems really likely, since grass is the only starter type that hasn't had a bird yet. Unfortunately, we still haven't officially seen any of the starter evolutions yet, and while I do like Rowlet itself a lot, the evolutions will be the final deciding factor as to which Gen 7 starter is my favorite. However, if the supposed final evolution starter leaks do turn out to be true, which it seems very likely that they will, I'm definitely choosing Rowlet as my starter because that Archer Owl has got to be one of the coolest designs that I've ever seen. Number 5. Minior. Minior is flat out adorable. Just look at its little face and how it spins. And it comes in different colors. I just want one to float around me all day so I can look at it whenever I feel sad. I love this little guy. I've wanted us to have a Meteor-based Pokemon ever since I was a kid, so it's nice to finally see one. Plus, I think it's cool that it has the Rock Flying type, since Minior is the first Rock Flying type Pokemon that isn't a prehistoric flying creature. Minior's gimmick of having a shell that breaks is really interesting, and while I do think it will hinder its battle prowess since unlike Aegislash, it can't really control when it becomes more offensive or defensive, I still think it's a really fun and interesting twist on a Pokemon's gimmick. Now, even though Minior probably won't be the best in battle, I still think it's really adorable and just overall lovable. Number 4. Jangmo-o. I think that's how you say it. I'm not really sure. It's very infrequent that we have hyphens in a Pokemon name. They're adding a lot of this kind of stuff this year. I've always liked reptilian Pokemon, whether it be lizards, snakes, or dragons, and Jangmo-o is definitely included in that. I think it's really cute, and I love the concept of the head scale being used for both offense and defense. Plus, the fact that it's a Valiant Pokemon adds a lot of points in my book. But I'm also really excited to see Jangmo-o's evolutions. It seems like it could be the region's pseudo-legendary, so because of that, I think it has a really good chance to have some really cool and really powerful evolutions, which I'm obviously excited about. Number 3. Salandit. Back in my top 10 new dual types video, Poison Fire was the number 3 never before seen type combination that I wanted to see a Pokemon have in Sun and Moon, and I'm very happy to see that my wish was granted. Salandit is a really cool Pokemon both in appearance and concept. Like I said just before, I love reptilian Pokemon, and I think Salandit's color scheme is super badass. In addition to that, its new ability Corrosion is so freaking cool. Being able to poison, steel, and poison type Pokemon is a game changer and is something really creative that I wasn't expecting at all. It's the perfect ability for a poison fire type Pokemon, hands down. I also can't wait to see what its evolutions will be like. I really hope they go for a design that's more powerful and intimidating, or like a Sly Thief or Rogue, rather than a cartoon villain kinda like what Crocodile looks like. But assuming that its evolution looks as good or better than Salandit, I'm probably gonna use one on my team. Fairies will stand no chance! Unless they know Earthquake. Number 2. Lycanroc. Ever since Rockruff was revealed, I knew that it would have a cool evolution. I could just tell from its design. And when they announced Lycanroc, I was very happy to say that I was right. Lycanroc is just so cool! I really like that it has 2 forms. We've never really had a super wolf-like Pokemon until now. I mean, we've had Arcanine before, but Lycanroc is much more like a real-life wolf, so it's really cool to see them combine the werewolf and the regular wolf aspects together into one Pokemon. And even though the forms are version exclusives, you don't have to trade to get it registered in your Pokédex since it is the same Pokemon. I personally prefer Lycanroc's midday form over its midnight form, since I think the midday form looks really sleek and fierce, while the midnight form looks a little bit more goofy. But I do still like the midnight form. Werewolves are cool, so therefore Midnight Lycanroc is cool. I'm also really excited to see what kind of stats and movesets this Pokemon gets. I feel like the 2 forms will differ a lot in this regard, and it seems as if the midday form is built more for speed, while the midnight form is built more for offense. I do think the midday form has the most potential to be a great battler though, since we've already seen it using a brand new priority rock move called Accelerock, and the Sand Rush can be a pretty viable ability. I really do just want to get to see the battling prowess of this Pokemon though, since I think Lycanroc is really freaking cool and I'm probably gonna use one in my playthrough of Pokemon Sun. Number 1. Vikavolt. I love Vikavolt. Or Vikavolt, or maybe even Vikavolt. I'm calling it Vikavolt because it sounds the coolest, and I'll correct myself if its name is said in the anime differently. I have never used a Vikavolt before, and it is already my favorite bug-type Pokemon. Electric has always been my favorite type, so it's really cool to see an electric bug type that isn't an unsettling spider. It is just so cool in every way possible. It looks super badass with the fearsome eyes, electrically charged jaws, and sharp-edged wings. It can fly around acrobatically, and I think the idea of it holding onto a Charge-a-Bug for extra power is just really fun. I'm imagining in my head Vikavolt flying around and dodging all sorts of attacks and then firing back with an electrical blast from its jaws. It's amazing. Plus, I think Vikavolt has the potential to be a pretty decent competitive Pokemon as well. It may be weak to Stealth Rocks, but it looks like it'll be super fast and hit really hard, so who cares about a little bit of rock damage? And even though it is weak to rocks, it only has one other weakness in fire, and then 4 resistances and an immunity. As long as its stats are decent and its move pool respectable, I could see Vikavolt being used a lot. Vikavolt is hands down my favorite Gen 7 Pokemon so far, and I cannot wait to use one on my team. So there we have it. Those are my top 10 new Pokemon so far in Pokemon Sun and Moon. I think the Gen 7 group of Pokemon is a really solid one, and I can't wait to see the other ones that we're gonna get. What did you think of this video? Do you agree with my list? What are some of your favorite new Gen 7 Pokemon so far? Let me know in the comments below! And if you like this video, be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, you should definitely subscribe for more fun Pokemon content of all kinds. Alright, that's all I have for now, so until next time, Pokefans, gotta catch them all!